Iran says it will allow traffic to resume through the Strait of Hormuz. The agreement helped send the price of oil plunging below $100 a barrel. Iran's foreign minister said passage through will be contingent, though, on coordination with the country's armed forces, suggesting that Tehran will retain a grip on the strait during the ceasefire. Oil flows through the key waterway have all but ground to a halt since the start of the conflict, sparking a widespread energy crisis. Well, for more, let's speak with Saleem Khan, a Chief Data and Analytics Officer at Polestar Global. Saleem, what do you make then of what we've been seeing over the last few hours? It'll be welcome news for those that want to get their goods through the strait, but it does seem to come with some caveats.
Right, it does. Look, President Trump's announcement isn't the end of this crisis. It's a 14-day experiment, if you will. The experiment is, can the strait reopen, and can the most expensive strait in the world reopen without losing control of the conflict? Let's start with what's been agreed to. Obviously, there's been an agreement around a 2-week ceasefire. In theory, that means the strait is open, no U.S. or Iranian strikes for the duration, and commercial vessels are able to move again. In practice, the threat picture around the strait hasn't changed overnight. We still have about traffic down about 90 to 95%. So we still have also large clusters of vessels that are still stalled within the Persian Gulf, as well as near Oman. So on both sides of the strait, we still have vessels that are stranded. So no vessels have been moving as of yet, although it's still quite early. The IRGC still has military control. So I think over the next 2 weeks, over the next 14 days, there's really 3 strategic questions that will matter for shipping and maritime specifically. Number one is, does traffic actually come back through Hormuz? The second question is, does Iran actually relax control at the strait? And number 3, what happens if there's a breach or a miscalculation? So for instance, if there's hypothetically an attack on port area infrastructure in Kuwait or UAE or Saudi Arabia, does that collapse any confidence in the ceasefire within hours? So this next 2-week pause, it buys time, but it's a narrow operating window and it doesn't remove the risk completely.
Yeah, Saleem, you seem very cautious about how to receive this news. Fair to say that you're not too optimistic about the prospects of this being successful?
Well, look, there's still optimism, I think, around the success of this. I think, as the last speaker was speaking, you mentioned that there will be some peace talks in Pakistan and Islamabad coming up soon. It'll be interesting to see what comes of that. That could be maybe a harbinger of things to come. But I think it's really the next 2 weeks will be a test. And I think one of the first tests we'll see is whether we start seeing some level of normalcy return to the strait. Typically, we would see about 150 vessels move through the Strait of Hormuz on an average day. That's down to about 20, and most of those are Iranian or Chinese-owned vessels that are moving through the strait. If we could see that number move up to 40 to 50, that's progress, I think, in my mind. And I think, hopefully after the 2 weeks, you could hopefully see that number start to move beyond the 50 or 60 number, getting us closer back to the normal 150 average daily number.
Saleem, thanks very much for your thoughts today. Saleem Khan, Chief Data and Analytics Officer at Polestar Global.